It's been a steady stream of traffic, especially in the kids area. Police told me that a car crashed around 2:30 this morning into this signal cabinet here, knocking out the power. So what they have done as crews are working on that is they've set up these temporary stop signs. Well, you can see the street lights have been shaking. Our own van was shaking while it was parked here earlier this morning. And if you're going to be out on the road, you'll need to have both hands on the wheels today. It's been a waiting game for Clark because the storm essentially parked itself over the Bahamas on Monday. If these were your taxes and you were expecting to get this much in return, in reality, you may have been walking away with this much. This might be one of the last times that you see cars waiting over here for the freight train. I'm pretty tired. I might need a break from reporting. I'm just kidding. I'm fine. I'm definitely not working out as hard as everyone else here. Only 5 clinical facilities in the country have a 7 Tesla or 7T MRI scanner. Now, after U of I's Board of Trustees voted today, Carl and the university are about to build the 6th of its kind.
This has been a long time coming for us. We're incredibly excited for what this means for the community at the University of Illinois.
A collaboration between Carl and the Beckman Institute has been given the green light. Dr. Tracy Wazalik, the director of the Institute's Biomedical Imaging Center, says the new 7T MRI will advance critical research on brain abnormalities.
We're hoping the biggest thing that I think this kind of resolution and this kind of technology will allow us is to be able to make a diagnosis much earlier.
The new MRI will look the same on the outside, but it's what's on the inside that changes the game.
It's a stronger magnet, so it gives you better resolution, takes a better picture.
The 7 Tesla will be phenomenal images, meaning we can see smaller and smaller and smaller structures, and it will be the only one in Illinois.
At Carl, neurologist Graham Huseman says the equipment will help people with epilepsy.
In epilepsy, about a quarter of the people don't respond to any medications, and then we start thinking about looking for surgical options, taking out the part of the brain where the seizures are coming from. And the tricky part about that is finding which part of the brain.
Huseman says 1 in 22 people will be diagnosed with epilepsy.
The most devastating part about having epilepsy is really the unpredictability of it. If you have a seizure more frequent than every 6 months, you can't drive. That really limits what you can do, especially if you live in a rural area.
He says he's already taking calls from hospitals throughout the state asking to use the MRI for patients with seizures.
There's excitement not just here, but also in the whole state for this machine.
The new MRI scanner is so big that it has to be built within its space. It could take up to 18 months until it's completed. But they're worried that the message of support isn't reaching the people who need to hear it the most.
The police department doesn't concern itself with immigration status. We don't enforce immigration status.
Champaign's Deputy Police Chief David Schaefer wants to make it clear the department should be considered a resource for all.
We want everyone in this community to be able to trust the police and feel that we're a resource for anyone in this community if you need help.
Mayor Deb Finan says she's concerned about what's happening on a national level, but trying to focus on helping people on a local one. She says as the 2020 census approaches, she wants immigrants to feel safe coming forward.
It's really important for everyone to be counted because cities get dollars from the federal government based on the number of people here. So people need to know that they can step up and be counted and that they're not putting themselves or their families in jeopardy.
One of the city's partners is the New Americans Welcome Center at the YMCA. Its director, Gloria Yen, says she hopes announcements like these will help address fear in the community.
A lot of anxiety around, is federal immigration enforcement going to be coming into our community, and what does that mean, and how do we need to prepare in order to really make sure that individuals and families are really fully informed of their different rights and ready to protect themselves and prepare their families in that case.
Tom Garza, the president of the CU Immigration Forum, says he's glad to hear about Champaign's statement, but he's worried it's not reaching everyone who needs to hear it.
Well, the problem is that a lot of new immigrants are language challenged, so they don't watch stations like this one because they don't understand what's going on.
The city does have translations for its statements, but Garza points out that in some countries, the line between local and federal authorities is blurred. From stop and go to knit and purl, Bismarck Henning's crossing guard is giving back. Here's a look at how her lifelong hobby is warming heads and hearts. At the corner of Holloway and Chicago, Jane Kress stands guard.
Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Cody. Hi, baby. Mwah.
Watching over Bismarck Henning's youngest students for roughly 25 years.
You have a great day, sweetheart. My husband will say, someone will ask us, how many kids do you have? And he'll say, we have one, but she has 300.
Every day, she sends her kids to class with high fives, hugs, and a message.
Miss Jane loves you.
But that's not the only way she protects them. All the preschoolers are sporting brand new hats.
Jane made that.
Thanks to Miss Jane.
Let's make my ears a little bit warm.
Every hat custom made with care. What does it have there?
Every single hat is a different color, and then we put colorful pom-poms on them, and we sewed a little button with their initial on it, so each kid would be special and know how much we love them with a little heart-shaped button on the top of it.
Miss Jane's teacher, her mother.
She was easy to teach.
Who shares her love of giving back.
My friend said, how did you get into that? And I said, I volunteered.
Parents say they're grateful for this mother and daughter.
I honestly do believe that it teaches them to give back and, to put others before themselves and to be selfless.
As for the kiddos, they have their own message for Miss Jane.
Thank you.
For all that she does. I absolutely loved meeting Miss Jane yesterday, and she says it takes her roughly 1 day to make each hat. And between the pre-K kids and other students, staff, family, and friends, she thinks she and her mom have made roughly 100 hats.